I started narrating stories on YouTube because after sending every story I wrote to all the big names and a few lesser-known names, I got no response at all. No thanks for sending, no your story sucks, just nothing. I won't mention who they are, but most of you should know who I'm talking about. Although, one big name did read a short story I wrote, which I'm very thankful for. It wasn't my best. This went on for a while. After months of frustration, I finally realized it just wasn't going to happen, so I decided to narrate my own stories, create a YouTube channel, pick a name, and post them myself. How hard could it be? So, I did it. My stories were good. At least, I thought so. To my surprise, a few people actually liked them, and after a while asked if I would narrate their stories. Wow, really? Okay. They would send them to me via email, which I gave them, and I would narrate their stories. And that started the ball rolling. I was talking to a coworker one day about narrating stories for fun, and they suggested I check out an app called Reddit and search short, scary stories and no sleep. They said they posted a few stories on there and that it would be perfect for me, so I did. I created an account and started my search. There, I found all kinds of amazing stories. I contacted some authors through comments and personal messages, asking permission to read their stories. Most were cool with it, although I did get a few rejections. I just kept on asking. Always ask permission. Things were going great. I was narrating amazing stories, people were liking them, and I even earned enough karma on Reddit to start my own community. I decided to use it for people to send stories, and people actually did. All the while, I still searched other communities for stories to read. That was until I found that story. I should have known by their username that it wasn't a good idea. I'm not going to mention the name of it because it still sends chills up my spine just thinking about it. It was about 1 a.m. Insomnia set in and I was sitting at my dining room table searching Reddit when I found that story, and it just blew me away. It had it all. Drama, suspense, emotion, everything. I contacted the author through personal message asking permission, except for some reason I signed in using my real name and not my stage name. Big mistake. I realized what I did, but it was too late. I already sent it. Anyway, mere seconds went by, and I received a reply. Yes, I've been waiting for this. Thinking they've been waiting for someone to read one of their stories, just like I was, I replied thank you and planned to go on with my night. Until I received my own personal message from the author. Hi, my name's Steven. Wanna talk? I figured, what the heck, I'm not doing anything else. So I sent back, sure. After about a 30-minute conversation, I found out the author was male, we both like Stephen King, we both loved horror stories, and we both live in the US, and hey, only a few states away from each other. I started getting tired. I let him know when we ended the conversation, both saying goodnight. I was lying in bed, almost asleep, when I got a message from him saying, I'm glad to have met someone like you to talk to. I miss that. I shrugged it off and went to sleep. A few days went by. I came home from work and found a note on my door. It said, Hi, sorry I missed you. Love, Steve. What? What? Love? I only talked to him for like a half hour. How'd he get my address? And what did I get myself into? I took the note off the door and quickly went inside, locked the door and called the police. I told them this story, and they said there was nothing they could do until an actual crime was committed. Yeah, that's reassuring. I hung up from them and tried to do my normal routine. Make coffee, get changed, drink coffee, so on. I couldn't get that note out of my head. The doorbell rang. I froze and slowly walked to the window to see who it was. It was a man. He was about 6 feet tall, tattered, dirty clothes, long, stringy brown hair. It looked like he hadn't bathed in a month. I knew it was Steve. I had to end this now before it turned ugly, and ugly it turned. I opened the door and said, "Look, Steve, I don't know what you think is going on, but I just wanted to read your story, that's it. I'm sorry if you thought there was something more, but there's not. Please, go home." I shut the door and walked back into the house. He screamed like a madman. He started pounding the door and screaming, "I love you, I love you." I ran to the phone and called 911. A rock or brick or something came crashing through the front window. I turned and saw that it was that crazy douchebag climbing into my house screaming, "Read my story, read my story." The shards of glass from the broken window cutting him as he climbed in. Blood on the window and the floor. 911, what's your emergency? Yeah, this crazy douchebag isn't. He charged, slamming into me, knocking me over the desk and falling on the floor himself. He was kicking and screaming like a lunatic. I got up, phone still in hand, and smashed it hard against his temple as he was getting up. His eyes rolled back into his head, the screaming stopped, and he fell to the floor unconscious. I heard sirens outside. I guess the 911 operator heard it all. The cops came, took my statement. They made me stay outside while the paramedics tended to Steve, if that's even his real name. The cops put him in cuffs, and the paramedics took him into the ambulance. On his way out, he looked at me and laughingly said, "I'll be waiting." They put him inside and then left. The cops finished up and did the same. I was left with a messed up door, a broken window, blood all over the place, a broken desk, and a broken phone. All over a story. I'm done. I'm done. I moved out that night. I left all my stuff behind, slept in the car till payday, then rented a room off with a coworker. And I never narrated another story again. So, if any of my subscribers are still reading this and wondered what's happened to me, now you know. That's why I stopped narrating stories on YouTube.